A gifted 9-year-old girl loves to read, but quickly learns that she has other powers besides just the power of reading. How? Let's read Matilda and find out. Welcome back to BG's Books. I'm Mr. BG, and today I will be reviewing Matilda by Roald Dahl. So, of course, if you remember the last Roald Dahl video I did, it was for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, to which I mentioned that the next Roald Dahl book I would like to review was Matilda. So, I've read Matilda, and so now I can review it. Anyway, I'm sure you all know the story of Matilda by now, either from reading the book at a young age, or perhaps seeing the movie like I did. Basically, Matilda is a telekinetic girl who loves to read and decides to get revenge, similar to Carrie, but not in a violent way, if that makes any sense. But anyway, so yeah, Matilda is certainly a fun read. It's also really short. This edition that I have right here is 240 pages, so I literally read it in a day. You could probably read it in like an hour, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, to further explain what Matilda's about, let's get to the summary. So, of course, Matilda starts with Matilda's birth, and nothing is really of note there, but it is worth pointing out that she started to talk from age 1 and started to read at age 3, both of which can happen, but it's very unlikely. So Matilda is, of course, very gifted. And so basically, by the age of 4 and 3 months, she starts doing longer books like Charles Dickens' Great Expectations or Jane Eyre. It's like, you know, a lot of those tougher books that children don't normally read. And anyway, so of course her parents and her brother aren't really just like fans of reading in general. They're obsessed with the television. So they just kind of dismiss Matilda for everywhere, I guess. They just kind of dismiss her. We're forcing her to do pranks on them. It's like she glues her father's hat to his head, she bleaches his hair, and just like a bunch of other like menial pranks that just like confuse them severely. And so they're just like, okay, what's going on? So anyway, of course, when Matilda is 9, she gets to go to school, and she forms a very strong connection with her teacher, Miss Honey. And Miss Honey notices that Matilda is like very ahead of all the other students in her grade. So she tries to say, you know, maybe we should move her to a more difficult class to be more on her level. So she goes and talks to the headmistress of the school, Miss Trunchbull. And Miss Trunchbull is like a very large lady. You might even remember from the movie, she grabbed a girl by her pigtails and threw her over the fence. That's her. And so, yeah, Miss Trunchbull is, of course, like, I'm not having that. And then so Miss Honey decides to go talk to Matilda's parents, and they're also like, we're not having that because they just don't care about Matilda at all. So then Miss Honey just can't do anything about it, really. So anyway, you know, the book develops. Miss Trunchbull is getting worse. Like, she throws the pigtail girl because she hates long hair. And she also has a boy eat a giant cake and is disappointed when he actually does eat the whole cake. So she smashes a plate over his head. That's like actually wrong and rude and stuff. That's like actually illegal, but okay then. And so Matilda and Miss Honey just get even closer and stuff. And so one day, Matilda goes home with Miss Honey, and she discovers that Miss Honey just lives in like this rundown place. It's a farm. There's not even like a real bed. There's like hardly anything there. There's no furniture or anything. So basically, Miss Honey reveals that she had a father, a very rich and nice father named Magnus, who had this giant house like a couple miles away. And then after her mother died, her aunt moved in, and her aunt started like being a control freak and all that. And then soon her father passed away, and so her aunt was like in sole custody of her, and her aunt was not the best. And so at 18, she just decided to find her own place. And then it's also revealed that Miss Honey's aunt is Miss Trunchbull. Yeah. Shocking, I know. So anyway, I guess I forgot to mention this, but over the course of Miss Trunchbull's picking on students, Matilda realizes that she has telekinesis. And this all happens because one of her friends named Lavender puts a newt, which is like a lizard, into a water jug that Trunchbull had. And then after she's blamed for it, she uses her telekinesis and splashes it all over Trunchbull. So, there's that. Sorry for the camera shaking, there's a cat. Anyway, so, yeah. So Matilda basically decides to train her telekinesis at home and gets back at Miss Trunchbull. And this happens when Miss Trunchbull is set to teach a lesson to Miss Honey's class. So basically, Matilda uses her telekinesis to grab a piece of chalk and write on the blackboard, Agatha, that's her first name. This is Magnus. Give Miss Honey her house back and all of her money and stuff, because she's also been, taking all of Miss Honey's money and all that. Very sad stuff. Basically, the whole thing is that she poses as Magnus's ghost and then tells her to, leave town, give Miss Honey the house back, and give Miss Honey her money back. And so Miss Trunchbull, she just, faints from this, right? And then so the next day, one of the people at the school goes over to Miss Trunchbull's house, finds it completely empty outside of the hasty leavings that Miss Trunchbull has made, and then Miss Honey finds out that she got the house and her money back. So that's very good. So she doesn't have to live in that impoverished farm place anymore. Anyway, so, yeah. And then Matilda goes over there to see her and stuff. And of course her parents are leaving, because I forgot to mention this. But Mr. Wormwood, Matilda's father, he sells cars that he tampers with. It's like he'll get a car that's say has 100,000 miles on it, and then he'll do some tampering work, and then the speedometer, instead of 100,000, will say 90 or something, 90 miles on it. Basically, he tampers with cars to make them look newer than they are, and then people, buy them and then find out later. Anyway, the police are onto him that he's done that, and so the Wormwoods are leaving town. They're skipping town. They're going to Spain, never to be seen again, because they're not coming back. So anyway, Matilda's like, I don't want to go to Spain. Just let Miss Honey adopt me. And so the parents are like, she was kind of a burden anyway, so go ahead. So anyway, happy ending. Miss Honey and Matilda get to have their happy ending together, where Miss Honey encourages Matilda's reading. Meanwhile, the Wormwoods, they of course drive away in their car, never to be seen again. But that is how Matilda ends. So overall, what did I think of Matilda? Well, Matilda is a very fun, very short book about just a girl who loves to read, who also happens to have telekinesis. And so, of course, if you know me by now, you know that I love telekinesis books. Carrie is my favorite book ever, and it is one of, if not the most, famous telekinesis book of all time. So everything that came after 1974 that involves telekinesis is kind of like a Carrie ripoff, I guess you could say. And then another book I really love involving telekinesis is The Weight of Blood, which is kind of like a Carrie retelling, but different. I made reviews for both books if you want to check those out. But anyway, so Matilda, this was of course a children's version of those two, because those previous two involve the telekinesis having a violent revenge where people die and stuff. And in Matilda, none of that happens. Yeah, there's a fainting and stuff, but that's really it. It's just about a girl who loves to read, whose parents and school people don't really like the fact that she does, but she also has telekinesis, so she's like, I'm going to read anyway. So yeah, Matilda was very fun. As I said, it's a very short book, so you can get through it very quickly. I highly recommend it. Although I don't know if I would have rated it higher than Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or not. I've been thinking about that after I finished it. And right now I'm just going to say that Charlie and Matilda are kind of on the same level for me. So I don't really have a favorite of Roald Dahl's books so far. But out of the two, I'm loving his style. I definitely want to read more of his. James and the Giant Peach is one. The BFG's another one. The Witches I've heard is popular. So I don't know. I'm still looking for Trying the Great Glass Elevator. So stay tuned for that in the future. But yeah, overall, Matilda is just such a fun book. And if you are perhaps either too scared of or too young to read Carrie or the Weight of Blood, I think Matilda is a great way to get into the telekinesis books, as they say. And yeah, I literally have nothing bad to say about it. So please go read Matilda. But yeah, guys, that concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Matilda by Roald Dahl. As I said, it is such a fun book and everything, so please go read it. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below if you have not. I have surpassed 300 subscribers, so now, of course, the goal is 400, so I would be really grateful if you guys could do that. And also, yeah, like the video, increase the engagement, and then to continue increase engagement, leave a comment down below either about Matilda or telekinesis or just anything in general. You guys know I love reading your comments. But anyway, to close out this video, I discovered I have telekinesis. So yeah, watch this. Do you see it shaking? Do you see it shaking? Yeah, it's shaking. Aw, man, I broke the camera. Oh.